Salama family, salama. How y'all doing? Hope you blessed and highly favored. So before we get started, I want y'all to do me a favor. Can y'all do me a favor? Can y'all do me a favor? If y'all could do me a favor, please say yes. I'm gonna wait till I hear y'all gonna do me a favor. They gonna say, "Well, I don't know what the favor is. Let me know what the favor is first." All right. So what the favor is, family? Don't beat me up. I know I said I'm gonna leave it in 2020, but you know your code, but you know me. You know I said I was gonna leave it in 2020. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Y'all know me by now. So we gonna have hopefully we gonna have some of our Patreon members join us. You know, I know this is a last minute thing. But I'm gonna have to ask y'all to let me slide. Yakoba gonna be Yakoba. I'm sorry. So anyway, you know, I had my name brought up, right? I had my name brought up today twice, right? On Berean show. And so you know me, I'm sorry. I'm just this way. It's just my personality. You know, I have to say something now. You know, I went over on his, thank you for the gifts, Sister Kristen. So I went on his show. I was waiting in the back, you know, because you know he said, "Come on, you know, if you got something to say." Because so I was gonna say something, but he never let me on, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's all good. But what I wanted to say is, I think, you know, when it comes to this whole Pew topic, why I have an issue with Berean, right? Why I have an issue, and I'm gonna explain that, and I'm gonna explain why I don't like this whole thing. So I'm not saying that, you know, they don't have a right to demand sources, because they absolutely do have a right to demand sources. So if you cite a source, you should give it up, right? You should give it up. If you're gonna cite a source, you should give it up. So we were told the same thing about the sources, about the pews, right? And you know, that they're protecting the guy. Now I can understand, you know, why they would want to protect Professor Katz, assuming he exists. I don't know if he exists, but I can understand why they would want to protect him because of what they did to Buenos. So I can't be mad at Pastor Kelly, and I can't be mad at Pastor Brown for not wanting to give up that source, right? But if you're going to quote a source, you should, you know, give it up. I mean, that's just how it usually is, right? So, but I don't know what the issue is there, right? Because I'm gonna tell you, you know, Berean talks about the IP addresses and stuff, and talking about how Pastor Kelly did a whole show on that. And here's the problem. Pastor Kelly was right in how IP addresses work. So I cannot convict him because of a supposed issue with the emails, right? Because who knows what happened there? Because what Pastor Kelly said about the IP addresses is correct. So my whole point is that Berean and the UA community they're attacking them on circumstantial evidence. Now, I'm not here to defend Pastor Kelly, and I'm not here to defend Pastor Brown, because I don't know what happened. But the reason why I was upset with Berean, why he ticked me off, and I want to use a different word, but why he ticked me off, because Berean is not clear on his condemnation. Berean, when he is accusing people, he paints a whole brush on the Israelite community. I have a problem with that. So today he wanted to clarify. No, you should have clarified in the beginning that you weren't painting the entire Israelite community for the supposed issues with two pastors. That's what I have an issue with. Berean not clarifying that the Israelite community had nothing to do with the pews. We were there listening. We were there learning like everyone else. That is the problem I have with Berean. Yes, you think you ticked off Berean? We are ticked off. I want to use a different word, but I don't want y'all to get on me. I don't want y'all to get on me. So not only is Berean not clear on his condemnation, Berean is not fair in his accusations. Okay, so you're going to attack two pastors, right? Because you don't have all the information. So you're accusing them of lying. I don't know. But let's assume that's the case. Let's assume what they told us isn't true. Let's assume that. If we assume that what they told us is not the truth, okay, go after it. Expose it. Do what Abu did with his little Roman Catholic self. Do what Abu did with his Roman Catholic self. Expose it. Now, while you're there exposing Pastor Brown and exposing supposedly Pastor Kelly, why don't you go ahead and go and expose Chocolate Atheist, aka G-Man? Why don't you? I ain't hear nothing on Berean about Chocolate Atheist. Where's that, Berean? Where's Chocolate Atheist? If you're going to be fair, see, this is the problem I have with you, Berean. This is the problem. You're not consistent. You're not consistent in your condemnations. This is the problem I have. What's up, brother Karis? It's hot in here, bro. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
All right, I'm going to try to not break on up because I'm on out and about. So shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, everyone. You're gonna have to give me a recap because the only thing I knew that was popping off was on Hebrew stream or Hebrew sphere, and I saw that earlier in my live stream today, because I saw our man talking about it. I'll be as apolitical as possible. So, it was gonna come to a head, but if you saw everything that was popping, I'm not trying to step over what you had just said. You can tell this was going to happen because everything was being disingenuous in terms of receiving the information.
So, Kara, let me ask you a question. So, here's the thing I was sharing with the family. The issues I have is Berean is not consistent in his condemnation of, of UA, right? He wants to attack Israelites, but he don't want to talk about Chocolate Atheist, aka G-Man, aka an urban apologist. He don't want to talk about that, right? So they got a lot of skeletons coming out of their closet. So we know all of the accusations about Chocolate Atheists. Then we dealing with a Roman Catholic. I don't even know why he's in a discussion on Pews, but they say he's some type of expert on the Pews, but that's his problem. Okay, if you're an expert, well, he says he's not an expert. If he's not an expert, then why does he even matter? Why does it even care? Like I said, I'm not defending Pastor Kelly and Pastor Brown. I feel they should come out with the sources, but do I understand why they don't want to come out with the sources after what UA did to Bunis? Yes, I do understand. Now, the other thing is this, right? The whole reason we were building on Berean's show was what? To find out if our claim is legitimate, to find out if we are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. Right? So they want to talk about DNA. We talk about DNA. They got destroyed. So now we got JewCon, right? JewCon has been destroyed, right? Because he shows limbo on his DNA, right? Not only does he show limbo on his DNA, he was supposed to be a DNA expert, and he tell us he's taking snips. Now he just showed the whole community that he doesn't know what he's talking about because you can't take a snip. But where is Berean calling him out on this stuff? He might say something in passing, but he's going to do a whole show on the Pews. Now, the problem I had was that when he did that show on the Pews, he painted all of us with the same brush. He did not make a distinction that I'm only talking about Pastor Kelly and Pastor Brown. He didn't make that distinction. He painted the whole Israelite community with the same brush. Now, today he made a distinction. Well, maybe you should have made that distinction ahead of time. What's your thought, Brother Karras?
Well, I mean, if if we're trying to be academic, this is just basic academics. Look, we're coming through with the hypothesis of, you know, if we are not the people, then this statement shouldn't apply, right? These artifacts shouldn't apply. The problem is that these things, these artifacts, they apply, and that was my basis when I did my awakening. My awakening was I wanted to do and see every claim that could really disprove, who I was. And now, and because when I looked at it, the more that I was trying to disprove, the more that it was coming into the affirmative that everything was, it was true that I am a descendant of Israel. I'm of the house of Judah, and now this is what is happening. So we're looking at things in the wrong manner. And here's the thing: if you want to be fair, you have to call out everybody. Look,
That's my point.
you know who I am. Look, I'm not a big secret guy. Y'all can look at everything that I have. I don't care. You're not hurting me. It doesn't really matter. I'm telling you who I am. I've shown you my face. I've done my videos. You know?
So Karras, they say they're having a hard time hearing you. Can you speak a little louder?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but not as clear as we usually can.
Yeah, I'm sorry, family. I told you I'm on my iPad, out and about. So yeah.
So I'm gonna step away for a second. So when you finish your statement, Hebrew girl, you can step right in, but I'll be right back.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is where we're looking at all this stuff. Look, I came on into this eyes wide open. Look, if they were hating on Israelites for this time frame, they're gonna hate on me because they hated on Yahusha Hamashiach. They hated on Christ. And that's where, look, I'm not here to be friendly. I'm going to be friendly with you, but I'm here to tell you what the Most High has on my heart to share with folks. Good, bad, right, or wrong, I'm going to bring it on out there. And look, I don't, and that's why I said, look, I'm on out there in my social media. You all address me as my name. So guess what? You all can look for me. You'll see me on LinkedIn. You look, everything lines on up. But before I came on into this truth, I wasn't thinking about much. I was just thinking about, okay, how can I do better in terms of bettering myself, right? Well, living the American dream. But this is where we're on at because as you can tell, the American dream is in peril. And that's because we know who we are as a people. So all this stuff that's happening, we have to really, and not us per se, but those folks that are having problems in terms of making the connection. And I know it's a hard connection, but this is where we're on at. But the more that we can be true, true in terms of being not disingenuous, but actually concrete and having that level of um, genuineness that's needed. This is how we start building.
So Hebrew girl, what's your thoughts?
Uh, Shalama. Um, I don't like I. Well, I put in a text before. I don't know everything that's going on. I've seen some of this. I can hear from your voice, Jacoba, that you are upset. I know you enough to know that. But I don't think y'all looking at uh what's his name? Berean for who he is. No, 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 nothing against him. But I listened to these things about the Pews on Berean's channel, and Berean seems to me, this is my opinion, but Berean seems to me to be trying to get his channel up and get more activity going on his channel, and this is a good way to do it. And so he keep doing these things with having you and or Dante or whoever, Sister E or whoever will do it, talk on his channel about the pews, and so that give him more views and more likes. And then I don't know.
So you
He
think we got finessed?
Yeah, but I think he might be using you guys and you
Well,
letting them.
well, Hebrew girl, it goes both ways, right? Because as I posted on Hebrew Sphere, we reach Gentiles through his channel and other Israelites. So people who would not have listened to us have awakened because of this debate. The issue I have, and I'm not upset so much as I'm the type of person who believes in fairness and honesty. So like if I'm a hold you to a standard, I'm gonna hold the other person to the same standard. And the issue I have is that Berean is not fair. He does not hold UA to the same standard that he holds Israelites to. I don't know if Pastor Brown and Pastor Kelly made something up. I don't know. But what I do know is that Berean does not hold the UA community to the same standards. And that's the kind of person I am. I'm about fairness and honesty. And definitely I don't like it when he paints the entire community. So as you were saying, I'm seeing that maybe what Berean was meant to do is to, continue the work of UA and destroy the awakening, right?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. This is a hard question, and some people might not like me saying this, and you don't have to answer it out loud or to us, but you might want to think about it. But maybe Berean is an agent, a paid agent.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I think you could be right. Reason being, I've seen UA do some shady stuff. And I think they will do anything. They will try to get close to people who are close to you just to find out what's going on. I think they are that sneaky and that sly, and they are very deceptive. They are not what we would consider a Christian to be, right? A Christian is usually a person who tries to be honest, adhere to biblical standards and values. I don't see that there, right? And they talk about us cussing when they got their people cussing. They don't hold them to the same standard. They got upset on Minister Dante because he said one little word, which really wasn't a cuss word. But yet you got Cherry Love out there cussing up a storm, and they don't say nothing about her. I'm like, I have a problem with that.
Who did that sound like?
The devil.
Sound like a Christian.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It don't sound like a Christian.
Exactly.
But I do think we did get some benefit out of this.
Yeah. But at Berean channel, I don't know. I think he just might be a paid agent or a gatekeeper or somewhere along that line. Because if you listen to Berean, if you say one thing, he agree with you. And if the UA community say something, he agree with them. So he don't have like a dog in a fight or a side, but he'll act like to you he on your side or he agree with what you say. But when he talk to them, he agree with what they say. So it can't be both. It's got to be one or the other or neither.
That's the type of friend you have in high school. You think he on your side, but then you hear, later on he's with your enemies, right? And so you find out your enemy knows a whole bunch of things about you that they wouldn't have known if that guy wasn't there in your circle. And you're correct. That's just what he's like.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Why you keep dealing with it?
Well, that's the thing. Here's the thing. The reason why is because I felt that we were making headway of reaching people who would never listen to us, right? We have people like, we have some white people who found out about us because of Berean, right? We have some black people who have found out about us because of Berean. So my whole point was, in order to reach some of those people who would not have an ear to hear, right? It was a good venue, especially when you had the urban apologists over there like Vocab, Sister Cherry, and all these people who were denigrating us, lying on us, accusing us of things we that we never said or done. And so Berean was like that neutral ground to reach that UA side, that they can compare what we say and what we teach and what we believe to what they heard from UA. Because if you allow people to paint you with a brush, it becomes sticky, and everybody's going to believe, oh, this is how the Israelites are. All the Israelites are camps, right? So now they know about the Messianic. The Messianics has turned this whole thing upside down. Do you hear too much about camps lately? Nah, it's us.
Well, can I say this? Do you know that this is something they have tried, the UA community has done with the camps years going back?
Yep.
So this is not new.
But let me ask you a question. Were the camps sophisticated enough to defeat UA? See, the thing is with us.
IUIC did, because they don't deal with them like that anymore.
But if
I've
you
been
know,
watching IUIC.
but if you notice, they've lost every fight. They've lost the DNA fight. They've lost the history fight. They've lost it. So now they got to go to the pews because that's all they got left. Right. So the point being is, until we got into the fight, our representation was camps. Right. That was our representation. So unless we represented ourselves, everybody would have considered us camps. Right. And that's why even like today, I have to come out and say something, because Berean and his boy is going to paint all of us and Tail Ministries and along with it, with a certain light. He's going to tie those pews to all of us. Right. And we don't know nothing about the pews. We know what you know. OK, we know what they know. That's all we know. If they want more information on the pews, they need to go to Pastor Kelly. Sister Sheila, you have something you want to say?
No, I'm going to comment in a minute. This stuff is just too much. Well, let me say this, Mr. Yacoba. I feel that you guys have represented, of course, well. And, I get what you guys are saying as far as, if you do have to fight back and say, hey, it's just not the camps. You did have to represent for us, but you've done the work. And my thing is, everybody at some point should have some level of, they need to seek out on their own. Do you know what I mean? They need to listen to your channel. They need to listen to whoever else they want to. And then they need to come to their own decisions about this awakening, whether they're going to believe or not. That's why I was so fed up with the thing about the pews, fed up with the thing about, our lineage, DNA. I think everybody's did all that they can do. I mean, it's like you're kicking against the pricks with these guys. And I'm sorry, with Berean, I don't know the brother at all. I've just never felt that great. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but he just something. It just ain't right there for me. And I need to know what the end game is. I need to know what's his end game. Yeah. Does he have an end game? At some point, I can't walk with nobody if I don't know their end game. What is his end game?
So
is it just?
Are we after truth, or are we after finding little holes in the position of the Israelites? Right.
I listened to Bill Maher's show, his talk show, and yes, he is an atheist and he really cusses. But sometimes I listen to it, even though I try not to be all involved in the political agenda. But I will tell you this about him. At the end of the day, you know where he stands. Yeah, he'll say, yeah, let's get some opposing viewpoints on here. But he is clear on where he stands. I'm so confused with.
So let me ask y'all a question, and you can step in too, Karis, when you want to. So my question would be this, family, because I felt that we were building, right, and I felt that we were going somewhere doctrinally wise. I thought that was good because it helped us build up our game. But how come we never, ever, not once debated the history, not once on the Berean show? If we were after truth, after trying to determine whether or not we are who we say we are and who the Bible says we are, why did we not once have a historical debate?
Because they didn't want a historical debate. For me, that's
not about truth, right?
Yeah, it's not about truth. That's kind of what I'm trying to say, is that it's not about truth with them. It's about drama. Let's just say it. It's about drama and keeping things all hyped up, keeping everybody all annoyed and upset, and and fighting for something. I'm not going to argue. Like, if you don't like me, I've learned this in my life, that people who don't like me, who have listened to something that other people said that's totally untrue, if they're not going to take the time to get to know me and maybe even say, hey, Sheila, I heard about this. What really happened? Let me hear your side. If you're not going to listen to me, if you're not going to give me that opportunity to show you who I am, okay, you can believe what you want to believe. It ain't right. To this day, I got people who don't like me, and I'm sure all of us do. They ain't never tried to
I
get
do.
right. I love you though, brother. You know.
But
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're talking to people like Sister Chair. These are people who are coming in the fight and with hardened hearts. They're not going to listen, even if they don't come on board 100%, to look at the evidence and just try to act like you all are just crazy. You all are just don't know what you're talking about. You're unscholarly. You don't know how to read information and decipher and understand. I can't deal with them people.
Exactly. So I got a question for Karis. You there, Karis?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, brother. So, Karis, why do you think Berean has Garfield and atheists on?
Let's just say, and let's just cut on out. I don't like to play semantics. I call it how it is, and this is why people don't like me because I call it as it is. Look, he's trying to get a variety show on in there, and he's turning really all this up into in living color. Because all he's doing is just joking and playing games with all the stuff. And we're trying to say, look, this thing is deadly serious. We're not here trying to, joke about our heritage, because there's an implication of when we are talking about who we are as the people, then guess what? If we know who we are as a people, then there's different implications that are going on. And we're seeing that happen right now. You have white folks fighting each other right now. They're literally mobilizing to have a war right now. They're talking about Pews. I'm talking about, are we going to have electricity? We're talking about if we're going to have running water. And
Exactly.
You're talking about Pews.
Food.
We're talking about stocking up food and water. These folks, President Trump, that's in Jeremiah 51. But yeah,
you're breaking up, brother Karis.
This is about beyond the level of seriousness, and they're not taking it serious. We should have actually been beyond this point of who we are, and we need to be moving on to how do we prepare.
Exactly.
Because this is where we're at.
And see, that's the other thing. This is a ministry to reach out to help awaken our people, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to like Brother Berean. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was funny. He used to make me laugh. Y'all phony with it. He used to make me laugh. I liked him, but I don't trust him. And here's the thing. I was told by people, a few months ago, that he's not trustworthy. And some of y'all told me the same thing. Y'all don't like him. Y'all don't trust him. And but I can see that his agenda is not for truth. It's not. It's like you said. It's to be the Jerry Springer of the Hebrew Israelite UA Christian community, right? It's not to get to truth. It's obvious, because if it was to get the truth, we would have been talking about history by now, right? And so the things that are controversial, like the law, they brought that in, and the whole thing with the Pews, because the Pews, that's the only traction they got, because they got L's on every single other topic that they tried to go against us, right? So they want to stay on the Pews because that's the only traction they have. Now, as Karis was saying, what's happening today with this country, and we see it falling. Should we even be wasting time on this? And Hebrew girl, I'm gonna take what you said, right? You absolutely correct. Maybe I should have pulled out earlier, right? But at the same time, I have a heart for people. I want to reach people. I think here's my fault. I think people want truth like I want truth, right? I'll go wherever the truth is. That, you know, I don't care about agendas and politics and who likes who don't like who. I care about truth, right? And I care about what the Most High wants. So for me, if that's my fault, then that's my fault, right? It is. You know, there's two things I like, I love. I love truth, right? I love being fair. I love righteousness. I love the Most High, yeah, right? And so to me, I think everybody's that way, but I you know, I'm naive. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little naive. Hebrew girl, what's your thought?
I think you're a little naive.
I know I'm naive,
I think
sister. I
you're a
know
lot
it.
naive when it comes to Berean, because Berean, you know how people say Trump is a distraction, and that's all he's doing is trying to create a distraction.
Yeah.
I think that's what Berean is doing, is trying to create a distraction, because you just said yourself, the things that you want to do, the things that you want to discuss are not being discussed.
Yep.
And that's not an accident. It's on purpose. He is not trying to discuss the law. He is not trying to discuss the faith. He is not trying to discuss the awakening. He just want to create a distraction, and he's being successful. So stop letting him succeed.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, I should listen to you know, wise counsel, and be honest with you. A lot of women had told me to be, you know, wary of Berean. Look, I'm gonna tell you, my wife don't like Berean, right?
She's right.
And I
Listen
should
to
have
your
listened.
wife. Listen
My
to your
wife
wife.
told me that, right? And so here's the problem. I think the thing is with Berean is that a lot of us grew up with people like Berean and know people like Berean. And so, you know, I think there's an affinity there, you know, because we know people like that, right? But at the same time, they were hustlers,
Right.
you know, and he hustling.
And they got people in trouble and in jail and dead.
Exactly. You know, well, I don't know about all that. I ain't gonna go there.
Yeah.
You might know more than me.
Yeah, those kind of people do.
Yeah.
So you might want to don't
Well, he told us he finessing, right? I'm like, but I didn't realize he was trying to finesse us. But I mean, that's cool, because guess what? Finesse goes both ways. Finesse goes both ways.
You gonna stop falling for it?
Sister, this is the last time I'm gonna try not to do it. I'm not gonna promise you no more, because I don't know me. Because guess what? I'm gonna tell you. Here's your Cobra. Here's your Cobra. I got a weakness. You want to know what my weakness is?
He already know. I can tell you.
Yeah, y'all know my weakness. What's my weakness?
He got to say something negative or tell a lie on you.
That's it. She knows it. That's my
you
weakness.
You always try to defend yourself. You always try to defend yourself.
Right.
That's it.
Like sometimes you just let the fools talk, and the fools are going to talk, and they're going to talk themselves into trouble. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I'm working on that weakness, family. Y'all got to pray for me. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Go next time. Go to your wife and say, honey, this is what I'm thinking. And she will talk you out of it. Believe me.
But guess what? My brother try to talk me out of it. And he be like, I can't do nothing with Jacobo. Jacobo gonna do what he want. He'll tell you that right now. You know,
listen to your wife. She'll
I don't know about that. Maybe.
She'll lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, she might. But I'm growing, family. I'm growing. Y'all got to pray for me. I'm not there yet. You know, like I told y'all growing up, I used to fight all the time. I ain't lying. I used to fight all the time. Why? Because I don't like people lying on me. I don't like them hitting on me and picking on other people. That's how I am. And I'm working through that. I'm a work in progress. Huh?
With Berean, you going to fight him and he going to fall down. And then when he get back up, he going to pick up the same rock and try and hit you with it again.
Now, you know what Berean going to do?
What?
He going to fall down and then he going to call the cops on me. That's what he going to do. Have me locked up for 20 years. You know, maybe. I know he finesse.
Maybe. So don't fall for it.
I'm gonna work on it. Can you pray for me? I need prayer, family. I ain't gonna lie.
I do.
I appreciate it. So you know, with all of this, I just felt we needed to talk about this because I felt that the whole Pew issue, I didn't like the way it was painted on the community. And, you know, they try to make it like the community has taken an L. No, the community hasn't taken an L. Because guess what? We all sit and learn and everything, right? I've never been to that church. I've never seen those pews. I never did a show on those pews. I don't know nothing about them pews, right? But at the same time, if Pastor Kelly and Pastor Brown did something wrong, deal with them. right? Deal with them. Don't deal with the community. Don't bring up the Israelite community. Don't say, oh, those are... See, that's what I don't like when they try to group us all together. That's my problem. I'm like, you're not fair, because when we do, if somebody in our community do wrong, you want to paint us all together. But when you and somebody in that community does wrong, you don't paint them all together. You say, oh, it's just G-Man. Oh, it's just G-Con. Oh, it's just Sister Cherry. But you don't paint them as a group. See, that's where I have a problem. So, that's why I had to say something about it. And as Kara said, what's happening in these days, these last days, this isn't the time to fight. This is really the time for truth, right? This is why we do what we do, right? To bring out the truth so people can hear. And here's the thing. Alton says it doesn't matter who you are, because knowing that you're an Israelite not going to send you to heaven, you still got to be saved. But that's a mute point, right? Because we were saved before we even knew who we were, right? So the point of our identity being restored is a biblical prophecy that came to pass. That's why it's important, because prophecy is being fulfilled. And yet they want to ignore those prophecies while we're telling them, like for instance, did we not warn them? I'm asking the panel, did we not warn them, the world, the Gentiles, that everything they seen happening in America was going to happen over 4 years ago? We all warned them that this was coming, all hell breaking loose, America's falling. We said Babylon was going to fall. I'm just saying, maybe we know something. Maybe we're not pulling straws. Anybody?
They just not for truth. I mean, you're right. With all the things going on, we don't need to be fighting. We need to be praying. We need to be working on ourselves. You guys have said things over and over, and a lot of this stuff is coming true right before our eyes, and they're not even addressing it. To me, that just tells me everything you need to know about these guys, including Berean. I mean, I just don't really get them. I really don't get the whole thing. But they're just not for truth. They're just not. They're just not. And I hate to say it, it's between them and Yah, but I don't know if they're gonna ever be. Their heart are hardened,
I agree. But here's the thing. If we and I'll let you talk, Karis. If we're after truth and trying to win souls, right? And we know that these end times now and the prophecies are dealing with us, right? See, they say, well, what does it matter? It doesn't matter if you're Israel. Yes, it does. Because the prophecies kicked off with the awakening of the Israelites, according to the prophecies, according to the scriptures that they refuse to teach about, that they ignore. Brother Karis.
Well, yeah. So, as everybody can see, on Hebrew Sphere and on Facebook, and basically, if you're looking at even now, you understand, even CNN and Fox News and MSNBC they're now having to state that no matter what they're trying to say in terms of everything is going to calm down, they are even having to come out of their own mouth and say America's in trouble because these folks are mobilizing. These folks are here. They're getting ready to go for blood. And just like what we saw with the Alicia or Ashley Babbitt, that was their rallying cry. Because that's where we understand. If we understand Edom, we know who Mount Seir is. If we understand Edom, then we know what Ezekiel 35 states. And this is where we're seeing this culmination. Now, the problem is, this is really just a distraction piece, because the problem is, instead of people really getting themselves ready and prepared, they're now talking about this. This is just such a moot point. Whatever. Then talk about the other issues if you're so concerned, or just not talk at all and start stacking up on cans and beans. Because pretty soon, we may not even have any platforms to talk. And people are going to be like, oh, I wish I would have prepared. But you know what? I was just worrying about a stupid pew when all this other stuff was going on. When they're already talking about be prepared for a major uprising. These are coming from their folks.
Exactly.
From their communities. So, when you're seeing their pastors and the evangelical churches telling their congregants to get prepared for a fight. That's a big deal.
Can, can I say something? He just reminded me of something that I thought about last night. You remember when Heather Heyer died, when they had that protest a few years ago, and the guys was walking through the streets saying the Jews will not replace us. The Jews will not replace us. They were talking about us. They know what's going on. They already know who we are. We don't need to keep proving who we are. We just need to go forward. We need to keep learning who we are and learning what God wants us to know. And we don't care if they tell lies. We don't care if they don't believe, say they don't believe us. Just keep going forward, doing what God called you to do. Forget them.
And that's true. But let me ask you a question, Hebrew girl. So, like Alton said, he said it doesn't matter that we're Israel. Now, my question would be, and I want you to answer this, if it doesn't matter who we are, right, then the black folks, the black people, or the African Americans that we're known as in this country and around the world, the reason why they're thrown into prison houses, according to the scriptures, the reason why they're killed in the streets, right, according to the scriptures, they have no understanding. So it seems to me it's very important that we wake our people up, no matter, what we have to do. As Paul said, to a Jew, I become a Jew, to a Greek, I become a Greek. Whatever we got to do, we got to wake them up so that they understand they need to turn back to the Most High and serve him. Don't you think that's important?
I agree with you 100%. And I was saying the same thing you saying. That's why I said go forward. Forget about when they say they don't believe, because it's not even, I don't think it's even legitimate. They just trying to distract and get you off track and get you to stop teaching who we are and get you to stop waking people up and get off on if they telling lies or saying something about you. So yeah, it is very important for people to wake up. Black people who don't know who we are, or who don't believe who we are, or who still listening to Eurocentric Christianity crap. Yes, it's very important that you get to those people, but you're not going to get to those people through Berean TV. I mean, you might have picked up a few here and a few there, but guess what? Those few here and a few there that you didn't pick up, they might have told somebody else, and then they told somebody else, and that's how that thing works. So you got to just work with what you got. And when you started on day one, how many people was listening to you? How many people knew about what you were saying? Now look, how many people are listening to you? It's not because you were on Berean TV. It was because you were teaching the truth and people wanted to hear it. So
That
that's
is
what you
true.
need to do. You need
That
to
is
do
true.
it.
But you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to reach people like Berean. I wanted to reach our people who are still hooked up in Eurocentric Christianity. I wanted to get them to wake up and see the truth of the scriptures. So my question to the panel is, where do y'all think we should go now? I mean, forward. What do you all think should be the path of our community? And I ask you first, Hebrew girl, and then we go to Brother Karras and Sister Shield.
The path should be to go back to doing what you were doing before this happened, is to keep teaching, keep studying, and keep bringing forth the word and keep growing in it, and showing people who we are. And I think that's the path forward. And if Berean TV or Alton or any of those other guys have anything to say, let them say it. And just keep, doing what you do. Don't even address it, or address it, but don't address them.
I agree. I agree. But y'all got to pray for me because you know how I am. Let me ask Sister Sheila first and then Karras.
Yeah, I agree with Hebrew Girl. Just keep, because that's why I was attracted to, you guys' channel. And that's why I hit people, and I still do. I keep trying to tell people, listen to these guys here and some others, just move forward, keep preaching, and keep teaching, because I know it encourages me. It edifies me. That's why I don't like Berean's channel. I don't feel edified. Even when I was trying to just support it, when I would listen to you guys, it just for me, it just tore me down. And it didn't matter. Just go forward, keep preaching, teaching, encouraging, please, and if I feel you though, you want to respond when they put something crazy out there, but then, respond and keep moving forward. I'm not into the debating thing. I think it's useless to go
I,
on
I,
this.
I think you're right, and I'm gonna try to concentrate on Israelites only. I'm not going out no more. I'm gonna concentrate on Israelite like I started.
Because it's getting, I mean, it's been serious, but we gotta be focused, you know. We
Yeah, I
really,
gotta dust my feet off.
yeah, we have, yes, I mean, yeah, exactly. Ain't that what he said? You know, you don't went out there, y'all don't put all y'all stuff out there, y'all came in peace and love, and trying to educate and people, and they just don't want to accept it. I really don't understand why it's such a bad thing to, you know, to, why wouldn't you want to be the people, you know?
Exactly,
I just
exactly.
don't get that. I really don't get that. And why are you so angry with us? Because we believe we the people. We still functioning the way we always did. If anything, though, we're just walking closer. We're just cleaning up our life. We
See,
just,
that's what they don't like. They don't like that we're walking closer to the Most High and not in religion.
yeah. You know, and it changes the way you view, I will say it changes the way you view the prophecies now. Now I understand who those people are, because I was always asking questions and nobody could tell me. It never made any sense. But, you know, I think we should just keep moving forward, because, you know, a lot of times when I'm out here and I'm listening and I see it's another debate, I just be like, oh, whatever, you know, and I just move on. You know, I love the teachings when, you know, the Most High tells y'all, the Spirit gives y'all something to talk about, and it just, you know, I can, you know, live and sit with that and dwell on that. You know, I think that's where we need to be, because, you know, we're going to have these scoffers and they're just going to be there. Maybe they'll wake up when maybe we get into the wilderness and they see some of us gone, and they might say, okay, maybe it was something there.
Yeah, I want to thank y'all for the gifts, brother Karras. Where should we go from here?
Mm. Okay. Just want to make sure
I can't hear you,
can
Karras.
you hear me?
You were breaking up.
Uh,
Yeah, you're breaking up.
um, I'm gonna get off
All
of
right,
you.
you sounding good
All
right there. Go ahead, go ahead.
right. Well, I'm driving, so it's gonna be breaking up. But listen,
Okay.
um, this it's like looking at an episode of Maury, you know, and it's not just Maury. You're right. It's a lot of the stuff that we now they with.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Karras. So I'm gonna move on to brother Carrington. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How everybody doing?
Bless, bless.
Yeah,
So
my
where do you think we should go, brother?
uh I think with everything that, it served its time for, everything has its time and its season. And, for a while, with especially with Berean's channel and his platform, because honestly the only reason I ever watched any of it was, when you or Dante or Sister, somebody of the family was on to defend our position and how we feel. Because just like you said earlier, if you let people who don't really understand what we believe and how we feel paint the picture for us, then there's nowhere we can go where there's not a stigma that's going to be attached to our names and what we believe. So it was needed for someone who can articulate themselves in a proper setting and in an eloquent way to go on these platforms and be like, hey, this is what we really believe, this is what we really teach. But it all had its time, and that time is, up now. Just like Brother Kara said, with everything that's going on, it's just entirely too much to still be trying to drag on these old points. I mean, and just like just like I said, I mean, there's never a discussion about all the history, all the stacks on stacks of documentation and evidence that points to who we are. Even uh, with they I never heard them actually address the evidence that Brother Benayah had presented. They just started trying to do character assassinations, because if you can destroy the messenger, nobody's going to believe the message.
Yeah, they
You
can't
know,
destroy
you know,
they can't destroy Benya Israel's research.
they can't. So I feel that. And one thing I noticed, it was episode that not episode, but it was one of them that you were on with Elder Mike and Dante was on it, and Brother Berean said something that kind of gave me a little bit of I feel that was an insight on how I feel. Even though he said he ride with Israel and all of that sounds good and dandy, but when you and Dante were explaining that, hey, we're not following the law for our salvation. We're following the law because it's a light to our path that helps us live a holy, set apart life. And we do it out of obedience and love for the Most High. And he was like, oh, that sounds like a slick way of, bringing the law back in. Uh, and when he said that, I'm like, that's the exact opposite of what was said. And I felt that was like
Exactly.
a moment where he slipped and let his true beliefs of how he felt about it all come out.
So they got the freedom to live lawless, but there's a problem if we use that freedom to live according to the law standards or God's standard in His Word, right? That just don't make no sense to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it seems like. I mean, we use our liberty in Christ to get back to what was lost. And I think about a lot of times because I see so many, especially I'm 28 years old. So I see a lot of people in my generation and younger, they're getting into ancestral worship.
Yeah, you're breaking up, brother Carrington. Yeah, we can't hear you. So what he was saying is a lot of our
Charging
people
their
who,
crystals and all this junk. And I just
yeah, we couldn't hear you. You broke up. Can you repeat that? Are you there? So what he was saying is a lot of our people getting into ancestor worship and all that type stuff, which is true, right? And I think part of the problem is, they don't have people who's showing the difference, right, between a holy life, right, a righteous life, people who don't just talk the Bible but live it, right? And that's the difference they see in us, which they have a problem with, is that we're living it, right? And one thing I do have to say that I would like to see in the Israelite community more is the expression of love, right? And we've been debating, fighting for our not to be lied upon, not to be you know uh castigated. But I think now the focus, just what I feel about it, is that the Israelite community, we all need to start loving each other, and loving each other is showing it in action, right? Not just words that say I love you, but doing good to help each other, like people during this time, during the pandemic and all these type of things, that we need to show forth that love and compassion and help each other, because they're going to see a difference in us. They already see a difference, right? They want to call us Judaizers, right? But I ain't gonna say some of them not, right? Because some people do believe you got to keep the law for salvation, but I don't. I believe that the law is written in our hearts, and that Christ is our means of salvation, and that the law is a means of living according to God's standards of holiness, right? So I don't think that we need to worry so much about how they identify us, because guess what? They're prejudiced against us, right? It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter how many times we try to express ourselves, right? They're gonna have something negative to say. Brother Carrington, you had broken off. We didn't hear you. Are you back?
can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. The last thing we heard was about people turning to ancestor worship.
Yeah, I look at a lot of people in my generation and younger. Like I was saying, I'm 28, and I see people in my generation and younger. We're getting into ancestral worship. They're getting into all the foreign gods that God has put in here. I have so many family members that
Is he there?
is into the Kemetic science. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, you sound good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just getting off of work, so I'm driving. But but yeah, I see so many of our people that's getting into like the kinetic science, they're trying to retrace the steps to
Yeah,
see what
I don't
got
hear
them
Brother
over here.
Carrington. Is that me?
Yeah, I heard some additional feedback coming from you. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that's probably me. I'll try and hop back in once I'm situated because I don't want to keep clicking in and out like that.
Okay, okay. So my question would be is why does Berean have people like Garfield on? He says it's because they can bring expert advice from the outside, but I'm like Garfield is not an expert on anything but atheism. So why is he on a supposed believers channel, right? Talking about believer stuff. Why is urban apologists associating with an atheist? Not only that, we have chocolate atheist G-Man, who's a part of the urban apologists, right? And there's something wrong with urban apologists. There's something wrong. They're not what they appear to be. That's my opinion. And I know Hebrew girl gonna say I told you so, but there's something wrong with these people because they're not what they appear to be. Any
Right.
comment?
That you are right. You are right. So since you know all of this, why are you taking yourself through it?
I'm not taking myself through it no more. I had a goal, I had a purpose, right? People, man, you know how Berean say y'all don't understand the finesse. Okay, I'm gonna say the same thing. Y'all don't understand the finesse, right? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. If Dante and I did not go out there to present the messianic Israelite positions, everybody would have looked at us as camps. So it had to be done.
It had to be done, and it was done.
And it's over now. I'm not going back on. Forget it. It's done. Mark my words. I know, Jacoba, you said it already. You whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay,
I'm really done this time, fam.
Is that what God called you to do? Fight with
I do believe that. I do believe also that, as my brother Carrington was saying, there's a season for everything, and that season is over.
Okay.
That season is over, and I do believe I was supposed to do that.
Okay.
So I be honest with you. I think, look, I'm gonna say this, and y'all could do what you want. I think everybody should unsubscribe to Berean.
I'm not subscribed to Berean.
Yeah,
I never was.
Ben did that.
Some of the shows because you were on it, and Sister E and Dante, but
yeah.
I don't watch Berean.
And exactly, I understand that, and I was introduced to him too through Sister E and M, right? And but that those days are done.
Berean is a street dude, and he always seemed like he was and probably always will be. And that's just how he is. He's not interested. I don't even know. I'm looking at him and I'm listening to him, and he sounds like he got some knowledge. But when you go to prison, you get knowledge like that. And I'm like, why is he even in this? Because you know why? Because the government paying him to mess with people like you.
I agree with that. But guess what? All they have done was look like a person with egg on their face. Every time they came against the Messianics, they got those L's. They have not won anything. And I'm not even sure if they won the Pews yet. I'm just leaving it open for, the possibility that might be an L, but it's not on the community. That's on two individuals.
Right.
Thanks for the gift, Brother Marcus. So, Brother Karras, you back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it really is. It's a distraction piece that served its purpose. I'll listen to Berean every now and again to kind of see what he's saying. I do that. I give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, yeah, that can sound like I'm being hypocritical, but I look at it in terms of, are people actually growing? Is there growth? And the growth really does turn around in terms of what is being said and how do they really take in and digest what's being said. Now, today with the rant, you could tell that there was really no growth, and you could tell that there was a lot of stuff going on. Because that's where the issue in my mind was, okay, well, if we have the problems here, why aren't we going to the core? And that never happens. Even when you have the people on the panel, and you would think that there's going to be something constructive, you quickly find on out that it's just, a bunch of ranting, and you never have anything really scholarly on out there. Even if I put like little pieces together, I did my little Native American pieces. Took the time to go through JSTOR, time to go through all these other LexisNexis publications and things of that nature that I get offered to me through my university, and actually, decipher the material, decipher the information, and give it to the masses in something that's clear and concise. Nothing that's going to overpower people, but something that people can easily digest. And we never saw that. If we had that opportunity to bring that about in terms of, okay, you want to actually debate historical stuff, right? You want to actually debate information that's in national libraries in these countries. That's where you need to be looking at. But see, the problem is they already know they're going to get themselves in trouble. And the last thing they want to do is to, really be caught out on the lie that would cost them, something monetarily. Because when you're talking out against, the Jed match and 23andMe and all these other factors that's been proven, well, there's a climate that you can actually create libel and slander, because you're trying to say that product, that source, that scholarly material and that scholarly work is something that it doesn't meet the par, because all it does is confirm who we are as a people. Now, again, we had the time for the foolishness. That season of the foolishness is over, because you don't have that time anymore. Anybody can see that. When they're telling their people to prepare and get and stock up on canned goods and things of that nature for at least a month, we're done with that. The Most High gave us that time, and now we're done with it.
What was Berean ranting about today? Because it sounds like to me, I don't know, I didn't see it, but it sounds like to me he's trying to make another big distraction, because something is about to happen. And Yakoba, he don't want you to teach people that something is about to happen and that they need to be prepared. He'd rather have you fussing with him.
That's probably true, but he was mad because I said I'm not gonna listen to him anymore, and I'm unsubscribing, and I'm not going on there anymore. So he was mad at that, and my whole thing is, I don't think you're honest. I don't think you're fair, and I can't deal with people like that. That's just me. I told y'all how I am. I'm all about truth, righteousness, holiness. That's what I'm about. I ain't lying. You look. Y'all could come and look at my life today, and y'all could come and live with me 24/7. I don't live foul. I don't live foul. I try to live according to that word as best as I can, according by the Holy Spirit. That's me. What you see is what you get, which is why, some people say, well, Jacob, sometimes you rub people raw. I'm like, I am who I am. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. That's how I am, right? I'm honest, right? And that's just the way I am. And if people don't like it, they go somewhere else. I'm going to be who I am. I don't want to put on a facade for you, when I'm online, and then I'm not the same person in my house. But here's the thing, I tell you, like I am, I care a lot. I told you that I care a lot, and I care too much, which is why I have to respond sometimes and why I feel overprotected. Sister E will tell you, when it came for her, who went over there to go fight that battle? It was me.
Yeah,
right?
I heard her say that lots of times.
Yeah, because I that's just the way I am. And
there's nothing wrong with that. But now you've done that, and so
I'm done.
Say something else. Make one line. Say one thing to him and keep going. just one thing, and just don't even address it directly to him. Just say whatever you got to say and just keep going. One line.
Well, look, it's like Brother Karras say, right? I mean, what we dealing with right now, I don't have time to play with that foolishness no more, right? I have to deal with my people. I have to wake up my people. They have to learn who the Most High is. They need to know, understand salvation, right? And walk in love and humility, because this isn't the time for to be caught unawares, because these people are crazy. These people are losing their ever-loving mind, and they looking at black folks like we the enemy, and we ain't do nothing.
Right. So that's why you need to be telling your people and not fussing with Berean, because he's not.
Oh, look,
worth
you
your
talk
time.
you talking to the Yakoba of yesterday, my sister, because the Yakoba of today ain't that way. What's up, brother Elihu? How's it going?
Hey, what's going on? You guys can, I don't know if you can hear me, but I've been having some trouble trying to connect.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, we can hear you right now.
Oh, okay. If it's giving feedback, I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on it. But I just really wanted to kind of figure out, I'm coming in late and I didn't catch the whole thing, but did you guys discuss the fundamental difference between covenant and law? Because I think the two words are being used interchangeably.
Yeah.
And it's causing a lot of confusion.
That's true. That's true.
I think because when we talk about whether or not the law was done away with, the law can't be done away with. The law is the law. It's been that way ever since God first said, "Let there be light." That's law. You know, when He established gravity in the world, that's law. You can't change those things. And that's the same law that everything else is based on. Everything that Adam followed, everything that Abraham followed, Moses, all the covenants are based on the law. But when you talk about a covenant, now you're talking about maybe receiving something specifically for following the law, and that's different. That's different than the law itself. So when they say the law is done away with, I think what they're really referring to is the covenant. The old covenant is done away with.
Well, brother Elihu, it's sort of like what I said on one of my other shows. When you look at that, when it's talking about the law being done away with, it's not talking about there is no law. It's talking about that judgment, right? That penalty of the law breaking is done away with. Why? Because our righteousness doesn't come from our ability to follow the law. Our righteousness comes from Christ, which is a difference between following the law as a means of holy living and obedience. That's the difference. And I think they have issues with the understanding of what's happening with that King James version of the Bible, because even when you go to Hebrews 5 and 6, right, you start to see that, it's talking about what's obsolete is the sacrificial laws that are obsolete. And so, a lot of times I would hear even Brother Mike and Brother Mike and I, we talk on the side sometimes. But what I see with Brother Mike sometimes, he don't make the distinction, right, between following the law for righteousness, right, or following the law for obedience sake. And there's a difference there when you read the scriptures. And he talks about we're not under the law. What? That means the authority of the law to be made righteous. It's the same thing. That's what Paul was talking about the whole time. Say it with your chest. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, brother Yakoba? Good to finally touch base with y'all, man.
Yeah, welcome aboard. What's your thoughts, brother?
I think Hebrew Girl got it right, pretty much about Berean. I mean, I think he's attracting a lot of views and, playing on the controversy. I haven't followed Berean as close. I never really was up to him either. But, yeah, I mean, I don't really follow a lot of channels that have really, really long. Some of his discussions are pretty good, but, I try to not watch videos over 3 hours and stuff like that. You got to. If the information is potent, it should get right to it. You know what I mean? I feel, if I watch a broadcast from you guys for 2 hours, it's definitely loaded with a lot of, good intel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not a lot of fluff,
I'm not
right?
knocking anybody that does, extra long, podcasts, but I just feel like, he plays up for views. You know what I mean? That's apparent to me. And I don't like the fact that he gave vocab as much legitimacy as he gave him.
Oh, I agree.
That was telling. I mean, people show their character. You got to call them out on it. You got to call them out and just be direct about it. You know what I mean?
And see, that's what I'm saying. When he's not fair with his condemnation, he'll condemn us in a heartbeat. But when Vocab and them say stuff, you know, like Coon, he don't call. Oh, well, Vocab a good guy. No, he's not.
No, he's
Vocab's
not.
not a racist. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it's the circus, man. He likes having, you know what I mean, both parties on, and I mean, he has to appease them, because I mean, you know, we have all the truth, we have all the ammunition, you know, we come locked and loaded, and I mean, you know, he has to, I guess he tries to tip the scale to give them, you know, some kind of points to argue, you know what I mean? Because if not, they don't really have much, you know?
Yeah. Yep. So, you know, my whole thing is, you know, I'm gonna let Hebrew Girl be my official monitor, where she if she see me crawling back over there to come and beat me up, right? She'll do it. I can
You
see
gotta
that.
listen. Oh, okay. Okay. I used to fight too.
So I'm gonna let you be the one that hit my knuckles right when I get out of line. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that.
I fight now. My family know. I fight now.
That's why you listen to me, huh? Because I'm a fighter. You a fighter too.
Yeah. I know a fighter when I hear a fighter. Yeah, I'm a fighter too.
So family, any final comments? We're gonna start with you, Sister Sheila. Any final comments?
No, just keep on doing what you're doing. I'm glad you getting out of it. I might, if Hebrew Girl can't, you know, I'll help her. I'll be your backup, Hebrew Girl.
I got two. I got two now.
I got 6 brothers, so I know, you know.
You know
But that's what I love about you. I love the fact that you're a fighter, and Dante's a fighter. But I mean, just you know,
you from Detroit too, right, Sheila? I'm from Detroit.
Right. East side.
Yeah.
So we got 2 from Detroit. I'm in trouble.
Oh boy, yeah. I got your back. So if you can't handle your Koba, you call me, and
okay,
you know,
I got you.
I'm gonna do that right, left, uppercut on him.
Right.
Like don't team up with Sister E, all right? Because she already gonna beat me up. I know it.
They gonna say your Koba got beat up by some girls.
Yeah.
No, but that's it.
That's like my wife and I be joking. She be like, yeah, but did you see him though? Go look at him. He got handled.
Yeah, but I'm just glad. I know you're gonna probably still say something if he's outrageous, and I still think that you should, but I just think that y'all need to just say it.
Be honest with you, I'm gonna try my best not to. Thank you for the gift, Sister Monique.
Can you know?
Hello?
And then, you know, like, you know, well, I don't know, you know, and yeah, y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, did y'all ever been to the point where, okay, y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I was saying, y'all ever been, you know, where you was with somebody like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna let that person go or not. But then one day you get to the point where you don't think about it no more. You done, you know, it's like ain't nothing they could say to you. You ain't never going back. That's it.
Exactly.
I'm there.
Yeah. You know what? They got the prophets. They got, you know, they got the prophets. They know what's out there. They know they can listen to you guys' videos. You know, that's why I hate it when they start accusing you guys of things, because your work stands for itself. And when they say, things against you guys, they can go through your videos and listen to the things that you said when they were saying stuff like you guys were, you know, didn't believe in the law and all this stuff. You know, you guys break all that down. You very clearly state where you stand. Where do you stand, brother?
Exactly. Berean? And then here's the funny thing. You know, like today, Berean talked about me talking about, you know, Jerusalem not being in the modern Middle East, you know, where we say it is. He said, that's something ain't nobody ever talked about before. That's new. And that's, I'm like, yeah, but look at the evidence, look at the scripture, look at what the archaeologists say, and you tell me either the archaeologists are wrong or the Bible was written wrong. Something's wrong there. Yeah. Bottom line.
And some of this, I think, is spirit too. You know, the spirit witnessed to me, so it wasn't that big of a jump for me to believe that we are the true Israelites. Once it was presented to me and I looked at it and I read and I went back, it wasn't like this big super duper leap for me, you know. And some of these people, I don't know, I guess if the Spirit, you know, maybe it just ain't witnessing to them, because maybe they just don't really have it, you know. I don't know, you know, because this is a faith thing too. I mean, you know, you just gotta have, I don't know, something.
Well, see, that's the other thing, you know. Berean said that religion is a serious drug, because you know, some of us wasn't really ready to jump on Pastor Kelly and Pastor Brown. So he said religion is a serious drug because we can't see the truth. I'm like, no, maybe we give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, what about him not being able to see the truth about Sister Cherry and all those guys and Brother Garfield? I mean, that stuff is so ridiculous. I mean, that right there just really put me out with him. When you know,
I gotta say one thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta say one thing. I don't know Pastor Kelly personally, but I mean, just his demeanor, the way he comes across, you know, I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? Like some people, you know, you can just discern, you know, the spirit they come with. And that's always the case, you know, in the way I deal with people. You know, if I see them, I'm gonna give, you know, if I see that in them, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't see a dishonest spirit in that man. So you know, I'm gonna give him that.
Say it with your chest. So why don't they give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Because here's the thing. What they have is all circumstantial. They don't know yet. So why don't they give him the benefit of the doubt? That's because we're their enemies, right?
Yeah, no, it's clear. I mean, the line's been drawn. Yep. I mean, you know, the whole UA is, you know, it's you know, it's agitprop, it's government controlled, it's all that. I mean, you know, I came across people like that online when I was commenting on YouTube, and I mean, no matter what you hit them with, they're not going to hear it because that's not the agenda. It's not, you know, you can't convince them. You're not there to, they're not there to, you know, receive truth. Like you say, you know, you search for truth and you follow where the truth leads you. You know, I was hearing about the Hebrew thing for a couple years before it locked on to me. It locked on to me through, you know, Pastor Darby, really, and a few other people, Dante as well. I read a few of his books. It really brought me into that. And a couple other random channels, you know what I mean? Not even, you know, really like scholarly Christian, you know, or theologians or nothing like that. But it just started weighing on me and I started doing the research. And when you do the research, I mean, if you're honest with yourself, you can't deny where it leads you. So anybody that, you know, comes to other conclusions, they just clearly have agendas. I mean, and, you know, I mean, especially they're debating it to death. And you come across the evidence. I mean, you know, what is there left to debate, you know? If you're
and that's why they don't want to talk about the history because they can't defeat it.
No, not at all. I mean, you know, I've been in truth almost a decade now, and you know, I've scoured the you know, the vast sphere of truth. You can every little nook and cranny you can go with truth, you know. And I mean, it seemed like Hebrewism, Israelite, whatever, that was the last frontier for me. And you know what I mean, when I grabbed hold of that, you know, about 3 years back, I mean, like, everything made sense a lot more, you know. It ties into everything geopolitically, history. A lot of things are left out of everything for a reason, to hide us and to hide, you know what I mean, the agenda to exterminate us. And, you know, just it permeates everything, you know, in every country, in every nation, in everything, you know. And then, you know, once you grab that, you can't look back from it.
Exactly.
But
the
people that lie about it, you know, they really believe stopping the awakening is going to stop their judgment. I believe they really believe that. So they have to shut us down one way or another. I guess they figure it'll buy them some time. I don't know.
Yeah. Noah the Bomb, any comment?
Yes, actually, I would like to comment. I have been listening to you guys for a while now, and I really appreciate your ministry. I appreciate what the Most High is doing through you. And he's clearly raising up leaders for this time. When we go back to our land and go into the wilderness, we're going to need leaders. And Heavenly Father has certainly been raising up leaders for this time. And I believe you to be one of them. And UA is a distraction to take you off your mission, to take you off your game. And I think we need to follow Yah and let the dead bury their dead.
I agree. Sister Christina, any comments?
Yeah, I wasn't going to get on. I just wanted to listen, but I was at the point where I was just wanting to leave church. And when I think in 2017, I ran across a video because actually I was I was seeking and I was studying. I would sit in church and I would just read my Bible because I just wasn't receiving anything. And as a minister, you get to the point where it's like, Lord, I know there's more. And then Dante referred me, or I don't remember how I ran on Teo Ministry. And, y'all changed my life. I no longer want to hear anything but truth. And I'm constantly questioning, everything that I've been taught. And I think a lot of time with Berean and even UA, you put the evidence before them. But I believe they just so jellyfish back and just so back at it that they don't even want to address it. Because I even shared something with my mom, and my mom told me something and I never forgot it. And she said, Chris, I don't know everything, but all I know is I love God. And for me, that answer wasn't good enough because she's always taught me to seek the Most High. She's always taught me to prove a thing. And when I began to share what I was learning about 3 years ago, it was almost as if it was too much to handle. And it would take too much work to go back and to reteach yourself and to go back and question everything. And that's just something I don't think people want to do. They don't want to do the work to go back and prove all things, prove a thing, And so for you all, it's almost like y'all my pastors because I'm not satisfied with going to church. I go to church to be in the fellowship with the believers, but if it hadn't been for you all, I feel like I was about ready to just say, forget the church and I figured things out on my own. But you all truly have been like a guiding light, truly have ministered to me and answered a lot of questions that I have. So please, don't think what you're doing is in vain. I know it's frustrating, but I'm just like, what is it? Noah the bomb. We need y'all. And I know when I get over there, we're gonna need folks that are that's gonna hold to their convictions, not waver, and continue to give the word of God as the Holy Spirit leads you. Because the word of God that I got in Eurocentric Christianity, I realized that it really wasn't. It was so skewed. So I appreciate the gift that you all are to the body. And so I just felt the need to say
Thank
that.
you for the kind words, because I've been where you're at, where I was in a great church and I love my pastor and I love the people, but it was always the same old milk level stuff that you learned 20 years ago. And it was like, I can't do this no more, right? I can't do this no more. And it's like when you want to pursue truth and you pursue Christ, right, you're going to move to a greater level of knowledge of the Most High. He said, learn of me, right? For I'm meek and humble, right? We need to learn his ways and learn what he wants. And then the other thing that, I think we don't emphasize, like I was saying earlier, is to learn to walk in love. That's going to show us the difference, right? Because we don't see that in the world. But I'm going to tell you what I see, especially in the Messianic group. I do see that growth towards love and support and compassion for the family. And that's how the Holy Spirit moving, right? Because you start to see these things. And I think we can get diverted. I know I probably have, but I do believe that I was on a mission for a season, and I'm convinced at this point that season is over.
Yeah.
I feel like you got diverted, Jacobo, because you have a heart for people. You definitely are in the ministry, and Heavenly Father's called you to people. He's called you to your people, and you may have gotten sidetracked a bit because it's your desire to bring as many into the camp as you can. But some won't be convinced. Some won't be, and some have been planted. And we have to know the difference between those who've been planted, those who are almost convinced and just need a little bit of love and patience, and those who just don't want to and do anything but be a distraction.
Yeah. I do appreciate that. The family, I have the love and the support for us, because it does get hard. I'm not gonna lie, and me. I get heat from both sides, right? So, but I'm standing on truth, and I guess if you stand on truth, you're gonna get heat from both sides. But you know, I do appreciate the support. Brother Karras, you had something you wanted to say? You there, Brother Karras?
Yeah, I'm here. I finally made it back. You all can probably hear me a little bit better.
Oh yeah, you sound great now.
Yeah, so I'm back home. So yeah, you know, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from leaving, you know, the church. I would just ask that if you do that, you ask your pastor. You talk to your pastor about why is it that they're not teaching the truth and all the truth. Because here's the thing. I think I would this may be let's say be a little naive. There may be naivety, but you know, some may not know, and say some may be in this hour of decision that they may have to start talking about this thing, or guess what? Their congregants are going to start leaving because this is where we're at right now. They're going to have to actually say something and respond to what the people are needing. You just can't be on out here pastoring, you know, your flock and you're only giving your flock, you know, just a little bit of grain. While that may be good, but people are starving. You know, your rib cage, your spiritual, you know, rib cage is going to be showing, and you need some more spiritual food. And this is what this awakening has been. This hasn't been the fact that people are out in droves, you know, going into ancestry worship. Well, that's where they get to when they're not led by the Spirit to speak, to look at all truths. And when you are led by the Holy Spirit is going to put you into somewhere that will be in agreement, not for something that's going to grieve your spirit. That's why you see all these things happening when you're looking at these other folks and they're going all crazy, and it's grieving a lot of people's spirit because it's like, well, that doesn't seem like that is Christ-like. And this is what you have. You were having these things. Now these folks, you know, you're known by your fruits. You know, I like to joke around, but my fruit is for Yahusha. My fruit is for the people, you know? And I'm just like Yakoba too. Look, some days I look at it like, okay, well, I think I may be used for this season, and you know, I'm gonna you know, give it a wrap. You know, I think we may have to transition to this. I think I may have to transition, but you know, the Holy Spirit always drives me, and He always has a message and a word, and I'm like, all right, Father, you know, here I go. So, you know, I would say in this time frame, definitely don't get discouraged, but we do have to continue to pray for one another, to keep encouraging one another, because we're seeing really the finish line is in the horizon.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing is too, you know, when we look at fruit, right? Let's look at the fruit of over there at Berean Ministries, right? Berean TV. One of the fruits is, like I said, right, a chocolate atheist who don't even know if he's a believer or not. At least he didn't. I don't know if that's changed, right? G-Man, right? You had a 7-day Adventist in there. They didn't know that, right? And I ain't got a problem with her. I mean, she, you know, so long as she trusts in Yeshua. But then we also have Cherry, you know, who cusses all the time, and then we have Vocab, you know, who lies all the time, and supposedly, you know, got caught. I'm saying supposedly, I don't know, not being too faithful. And so now he has Garfield, who's an atheist. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? That's why it's time to move away, right? Because we're dealing with holiness and righteousness and pursuing the Most High. We don't have the same agenda, because we're not doing this just for the sake of knowledge. We're doing this for the sake of the Most High and waking up His people and living holy lives, right? That's a difference. We're not doing this just to have a debate, right? And that's the problem. They say they are believers, but I'm not seeing that fruit. That's just me. I'm not seeing that fruit. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. So, any comments, fam?
Minister Yakoba.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say, what's the scripture? You know, and they will say, "We've haven't we I can't. I'm
Haven't we cast out devils in your name, and in your name done
Yes,
any
yes.
wondrous
Depart from me,
works?
you workers of iniquity. All that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
keep thinking of all the Eurocentric preachers. I used to follow way back when, like Perry Stone and all them, and you know what I mean. The deception is so deep. That's exactly those people that are gonna be, crying out in that, like that scripture. You know what I mean? They're gonna go up to, the judgment, and they're gonna say, "Haven't we done this?" But you're complicit in hiding God's people, because I know they know the truth, and a lot of the world knows the truth. They just want to gloss it over, and they just want to put us to the side, and there will be consequences for that, because it's a heart thing. Above
It
all,
is.
your heart's not right.
And
There are
that's
people
the
that
other
don't know
thing.
who we are, but if their heart has no animus to black people, any whatever, has no animus to anybody, they'll be judged accordingly on that.
Yep.
Father Yah will look on them and look at their heart. It's pure, and that's that. But there's nothing pure about UA's intentions and anything they do. So, we know where they're headed. We know their end game. So, I think you've run your course with Berean. I think it did some good initially. It exposed vocab initially, but there's not much to really say about UA at this point.
Oh
They've
yeah.
exposed themselves.
Yeah. Vocab had to be exposed. I'm serious. That dude
Yeah.
there. I I ain't got
Yeah.
nothing good to say about vocab at all. I'm sorry.
But
Any other
but if
comment?
you can't discern what the spirit he's working with, then it's just not in you. It's just not in you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sister Christina, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was just saying, the deception is so deep, and just the indoctrination. Because I know I went to my pastor 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and I could not, as an academician, I could not believe that he would not even address the the information, the sources. Um, when that happens, my question is, like, where do you go when there's no, you don't necessarily agree with the camps. You know what I mean? The only place I have found any type of peace, and just feeling like, okay, God, where you want to lead me, is through Teo Ministries, and coming on here and listening and driving and listening, because I have no desire to go to church, other than every once in a while just go, just to be, just for the praise and worship, because I'm constantly scrutinizing the word. But it's like, where do you go? Like, where can I go? Where can I be? Where, even if I'm actually,
Yeah, you went silent. Hello?
when he kind of shot me down and told me I have to be,
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
and I'm like, no, no, you taught me, to rightfully divide the word. You taught me to prove all things. This is part of your teaching, but he would not address it. So it's like, the only place that I can go is, the two ministries that actually, Dante Fortson and all of his books. I think I just buy all of his books and give away. Um, and this ministry. So it's like, with all the deception and indoctrination, there's no other place to go but here.
Yeah, let me ask y'all a question. Did I go out, or did Sister Christina go out? Because it went silent for a bit there.
Some people have been going out for since the last 15 minutes. I heard nothing of what uh, the last two people said. I heard Christina, but I couldn't hear the other people at all.
Okay. I don't know if that's on my end or what.
Oh.
Can you
Say
hear
it
me
with
now?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it dropped a little bit
Feel
on
like I
Christine from
can't
my
hear
end.
now.
Okay, so it did drop on Christina, right? Yeah, it did for me
Just,
too.
just real quick. It wasn't long.
Yeah, for like 5 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's get some final comments. Hebrew girl, any final comments?
My final comment is, I'm glad to hear you say again that you're gonna drop this Berean Pew thing and go back to what you were doing before. I look forward to it. And I always miss the live when you do something about the law and the covenant. I would love to get in on the discussion on one of those. And I look forward to us getting back to doing what God called you to do.
All right, all right. Sister Sheila, any final comments?
Nope, just love y'all. Enjoyed the conversation. Glad to hear you kind of getting through with Berean, but I still think you're gonna fight a little bit, but that's
I'm
okay.
not. I'm serious. I'm tired. I'm tired. Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Well,
We got your
I
back.
know. I know you don't believe me. I understand.
We got your back regardless. So
All
just
right.
love you guys. Take care. Praying for all of y'all. Praying for all of Israel. Love
Yeah.
y'all.
Thanks for the gift, Cecil Smith. So say it with your chest. Any final comment?
I'm just glad to finally get on with y'all, man. I mean, hey, I love you like a brother, Jacoba. I mean, we had our little battle initially, and I think that, actually helped. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to get that off your chest, and, you develop a certain respect for each other when you realize, it says a lot when you can get over things, you know what I mean? Like, in a healthy way. And I mean, I know God is using this ministry. I always, knew that. So I didn't want to take anything away from you brothers. And you know what I mean? I'm just glad I can dialogue with you guys. And, you know, I really follow you and Dante, man. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are my go-to right now. You know what I mean? As
Yeah.
far as keeping with everything Israel, and you're the first two I go to on that topic. And you do what you do best with the prophetic on that whole timeline. You made me purchase the 1611. There's a 1612 Bible. I got one late last year for the first time, so I could really catch up on Second Ezra and all those other books. You know what I mean? I'm still in the prophetic books in the canon right now, digging back into those all the way to really get things now that I'm understand who we are. So I'm gonna dig into that too.
Yeah, one thing I want to say is, we all are growing, right? And I'm learning all the time, and you all teach me stuff too. Don't even trip. I'll be learning from y'all. And
I know, and that's a beautiful thing. That's maturity.
Yeah. And I really appreciate the family, because I'm really looking forward to meeting y'all when we get back to the land, So no other bomb. Any final comment?
We're looking forward to meeting you too. Seeing your face.
Yeah. You'll see it. You'll see the twins.
But anyway,
they're gonna be like, he don't look nothing like I thought.
That's probably
I thought he looked like Huey, but he don't look nothing like Huey.
I guess I just wanted to say, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I believe you're called. When I came to this awakening, I listened to probably everybody on YouTube trying to figure out what was truth. Who is Messiah? What do I do? Which way do I go? What direction do I go in? And you were the first one that I listened to that helped me to embrace my Hebrew culture and my Hebrewism, but still hold on to Christ. And that was important to me. And so whenever I see a Teo video out, I'm on it. I'm really on it because it's like meat. It's like for the first time in such a long time, it's meat. And I really appreciate it. I appreciate what you do. Please keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to the detractors. Let the dead bury their dead and let's move on because we're about out of here.
I agree, my sister. Brother Karras, any final comments?
Yeah, Kobe, thanks for having me on. This is something we we think that we're putting to bed, or it shouldn't be on our minds and on our plates, because really there's so much more that we could be talking about, because everything is just being rattled and shaken throughout the entire world, and here we are talking about Pews. So, family, this is what we need to understand. Yes, Robert, just like what you're saying, let the dead bury the dead. All right. If you already see that they're approaching the cliff, jump out the car. And this is what we've been saying. This is what we've been advocating. I haven't been on Berean's channel for a reason. I don't need to have my peace. They're talking about freedom in Christ. I like having my peace in Christ. So I'm not going to let the devil steal my peace, because I know what we're getting ready to battle. This was just the warm up, family. This thing was just the warm up. And this next season is really going to be about the fight. And that's where we're starting to understand, look, if you can't get through the warm up, how are you going to go through when you're actually in the fight? When this thing it's over with, we know we're the people, and now we need to start really hunkering down and getting in with what the Most High needs us to do.
Yep. Sister Christina, any final words?
I just, amen. Noah the bomb, she keeps taking the words, like everything that I'm thinking when she's talking, like she just say exactly what I was thinking. But I'm just so grateful for you. I know you may not be that much older than I am, but you have really, really cultivated, me in this new awakening. And I'm just really grateful. And I'm grateful. Please keep doing what you're doing. It is so needed, and like I say, I hang on to your words. I listen to what you're saying. I go back and I check some things too, but it's just I've never felt so fed. I would say in about 3 or 4 years, just what you bring, like I say, what you bring to the body, what you bring to us as Israel, it's a blessing and it's so needed.
And I want to thank y'all for the kind words, because I don't really hear it too much. I don't get the positive support and comments, and I really appreciate it. And to the teachers, there's a higher standard to us, which I don't play with the Most High, right? I do the best I can, and trying to understand His word and what He wants us to do. And if I'm feeding His people, right, I got to be even more cautious. See, like I told you, I don't play games, right? I live for the Most High. Thanks for the gift, Noah the Bomb. And so, I just want to thank y'all for the kind words, and because sometimes I do get weary. I'm not gonna lie, I do. But when you all build me up, that really helps. And so, family, I want to thank y'all for listening, and let's stay within the community. Let's do the work of the Most High, Yah, and love on each other. So, peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Love you with the love of the Messiah. Now I got to give it a second or two so that it won't cut off, because that's what StreamYard does. It cuts off sometimes. So, love y'all. Peace out, family.